Hi everyone, sorry it's been too long since I did a video, which Annette does keep reminding me of. So here we are with one of the junk journals I'm currently working in. So this is, an old Ladybird book. This one was called Games to Play, I think. And I chose it because I liked the font in the... I just liked the font size, I just liked the way it looked on the page. And I love font and I love numerals, I love letters. So I decided to call this Time to Play with Words and Letters, kind of challenging myself to not rely so much on floral images, but they do creep in. And why not? They are also part of who I am. So I love the feel of this book. I covered it in some old ledger paper around here, layered it with, these are this printed bit here is excess print from a guy who sells, he binds them and sells them off for people to use. So Andrew Morrison, I think. So there we go, that's how that started. And I've added some collage bits already. I can never resist, this is another one of those pieces. I just can't resist tip-ins. That's a page I did using the John Derrian sticker book. Images from there. It's got loads of great images in, so that's where they came from. This is actually from a set of Ladybird flashcards, set 2. This book is book 9, so that's obviously higher up the reading scheme type of thing. But so I've just been, last night I sat and added some more, just been adding bits of paper throughout. So Meg Journals is who prompted me to have a go at a Ladybird book size, because I normally like a square, and I normally, this is a little too big for me, so this is my challenge. My comfort journals are still my junkdoris, which maybe I'll do some journaling there for another video, but you can find images of those on Instagram. So yeah, so this is my challenge piece, as it were. So Meg's using a book of birds, and I liked how she'd incorporate some of the images. Now a lot of these children, I didn't want to incorporate these images. I really like that house. I love roofs and chimneys, so I need to work out how I'm gonna blend that in, if I am, or what I'm gonna do. But at the moment there's just some arrears of war. And this is another idea of Meg's, tearing a page in half. So actually this was a page torn in half, that's those bits, and then a tip in the middle. And again, letterpress waste. But what I started to do was add words that began with A, because on this page they're playing a treasure hunt game, and so you can see the notes that they're supposed to be reading. So I cut out, so earlier Ladybird books have, there's a bit here, have larger font and bigger gaps to help the younger reader or the earlier reader. So I've cut out various fonts and things. I thought I'd add a load of words on there. So, you know, a nice play with words that came just out of an image. Again, this is waste letterpress or print. And then I really liked this. I think this might have been influenced by Meg as well. Just like little clusters along the edge of patches of colour, and that's all I've done. So earlier in the year I did Jack Ravi's Collage Connect, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. I've listened to and watched it all. I haven't actually, which is unusual for me. I don't ever get to finish online courses. So it just shows how much it resonated. But now I need to do some of those things. But I'm just going to rummage in my bottom drawer. One of the things that came out of that course was Kim Hamburg of Glue Paper Scissors on Instagram uses a confetti punch, circle punch. Now, I adore it, circles of paper, as you know. So when I saw this beastie of a punch that she was using for her piece, I was like, I need that, because look at all those different sizes, as much as anything. So I'm going to challenge myself to use this today. I have, talking of words, I have cut out a floral image, because in her piece that she does, she often cuts out, she uses the punch to kind of cut the edge off a picture, and I'm thinking of being brave and doing that to this, even though I really like it as a whole thing, because it does actually work rather well on there, on that piece. You'll see, I think partly I put a load of tip-ins in because I'm avoiding this size, working on a smaller one, squarish. But I'm going to go for it. Going to see my work on this, see what's on there. Yeah, I'm gonna just go with it. So this is from an illustration where that's obviously the fruit, so it's not part of the picture as such, but it's kind of. So I don't feel so bad about chopping that off. Should we go with that? And we should get some rather gorgeous circles off there as well. Let's just pull that out gently. It's got stuck. Just does stick on one of these for some reason. There we go. There's a circle, or part of one. Get down. See, that's a very beautiful piece. Oh, look at that. It's a good edge. It's a bit of a thing. So we've got something a little bit different now. I'm feeling like it might need a few more random ones. It looks a bit, it's not been very brave, have I really? So let's put some in particular places. It obviously didn't like just having just that edge there. Cut some of those out. One. And a smaller some. So that's a good collection to go somewhere. Right, still see you can. Right, I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to put a little bit more collage on there. I'm surrounded by collage paper. It's a little tray of bits. I wonder whether that's sticky. No. It's obviously some punch that didn't actually work at some point. That looks like a bit of dressmaking paper, which would work well. Let's tear off, obviously used it to make petals or something on somewhere else. I don't tend to stick things upside down either, so let's do that. Just trying to broaden my collage skills, techniques, not sure of the word, but just having a go really at different things and kind of treat chunk journal, but it's a bit like a sketchbook, it's play. I really like how the writing is not linear there since I've squidged it. Right, now Kim talks about your rules of 3 and you're dividing into 4. I can't remember why she divided into 4 as well as 3s, but I kind of naturally got that there, 3, and it overlapping into bits. Here's some tiny print that's been stamped on at some point, but let's do that on there maybe. Give that a squidge. I'm going to glue this on, and then go from there with. I might add some circles back in of a different, completely different thing, completely different paper, etc. Pop that there. Quite like to add a colourful, in fact could use a colourful something from one of these. So I've taken some pages out just so that it was getting a bit full with all the tip-ins. But it does mean I've got some rather nice collage paper, because that's rather a nice green, isn't it? And actually on the other side obviously I've got the writing. Just thinking it'd be quite nice to emphasise those missing bits by adding some different contrasting circles. So shall we do another bit of green maybe? There. And some of these this size would be good, although we've got some more green in the woods. Bit naughty, I use a wet finger to pick up things like that. Oh, that's not the right size, but still on the glue stick. It's not the size I thought it was, I should say, but I could add some smaller ones. That fell there, look nice, so let's add it in. I don't like that because they're in a 3 of a line. I'd rather have my 3s in a triangle, so down there I'll do. I know they're only a bit of a line, but anyway. Let's add a couple more. Obviously it wants to be in a line, look, it's back. So where's my smaller punch? Here we go. that's actually in a hole, because there's not so much contrast there. Could be next to that one. And maybe put that in there. Let's see what else we've got. That works, I think. And what I'm going to do down the edges, I'm going to scribble around those short. I'll just do a bit of scribble here as well. That was already there, part of the music notes. Once those are dry, I'll do some scribbling around them. Probably is already, because that's something I like to do. The thing I like to do next, and not a chance to stick, they go flying across the page. Yeah, what I'm going to do is do some of that colourful tiny bits along there, and again I think I'm going to use some of the bits from here. Now, somebody else, as part of Collage Connect, one of the challenges was to just use pieces from it that you've already cut, so don't do anything to them, like just to use these things and see if you can. I thought it was a really good challenge. Give that a go another time, but it always makes me, I always think of it when I see things like this, kind of like, oh, some nice bits there. Right, it's like patchworky, isn't it, this section? Doing tiny patchwork along the edge, just for a snippet. Do a bit of text. Oh, some ledger paper here. Always like a bit of ledger paper. Not that that's colour. See, I get pulled away back into my neutrals. But I like that next to the red. Maybe, I was going to say a bit of blue, but that greyish shorts will work, isn't it? Give that torn edge a little space to shine. What should we put next to that? Something yellowy, picking up that. It's Jane's cardigan. Blue. Shall we go with blue? I can find some blue sky. Blue trousers. Oh, here we go. It's about a bit of envelope. So this is the other punch that when I was ordering that one, this one fell in my basket as well. I'm not as keen on the regularity for this kind of technique, but it's pretty good at giving you plenty of paper dots at once. There we go. Maybe have a bit of wording. Look, there's an A word. Add that to my page. Words beginning with A. I need another bit. Let's put that part word on. And some more colour. Let's put this fence on. I've got some cut. Just trim that off. Complete with some red. Don't normally use red. I do love it as a bit of an accent, so I love it when it's on paper like that. I'm liking it on here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of ledge paper, I think, again on the end, maybe a number this time, or a date, I think it might be. There. Definitely different to what I would normally do. What else does it need? It might need some of these green bits coming up here. This would be rather nice somewhere, wouldn't it? This bit I cut out, wherever it came from. I'm going to add it on there. That will draw those pages together a little bit. Draw that eye across. Yeah, definitely needs some more green. So let's do that to this edge. Pinging all over. See, it's these kind of things I wouldn't normally have thought about adding to a collage page. I'm sure he wants his head on there. He's too obviously a person, but put it there. Where do we want it? There. Or don't we want it at all? I like it there, actually. Just shows how individual it is, isn't it, what things look like, because I'm sure people will have been thinking, oh no, well I would have put it such and such a place. Or not included it at all. Trim that off. I like how it's connected. There's obviously, they were obviously doing something else in the garden or the woods there, which I think they were playing an inappropriate, not a game not appropriate for these days. It looks like an elephant. That looks like crap books, so maybe it should have a circle on there. Honestly, I could just put circles down all day and glued itself to the page. I've got a tin of words, well, phrases actually, buried over here. This is a tins a friend gave me, and I've decorated it and found a great phrase for the top to say with a chuckle. So I've saved some in here. Who knows if there's anything appropriate? And look quite, maybe that would work with something I had a bit of silver too, obviously. See what word we've got on the back. Be my. I'm just going to add quietly. They don't fit very well in here, but it's, you know, it's still pleasing. What does that say about poetry? The luminous halo of poetry. Oh, there's another look. I'll sort those out later. So there we go. That's my page inspired by Kim Howard's Eco Success Punch. Kim Hamburg, sorry Kim. There's a look, here it is. The other words I added are also words that would have been keywords in, these will be early sight vocabulary. Quite enjoying adding words to that page and little snippets. So there we go, that's today's page. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me.